Warning: the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Welcome back to the Savage Nation. This is Michael live with you today. I know many of you just breathed a sigh of relief, saying my life is not worth living when Michael Savage is off. However, we must take a vacation every once in a while in the Savage Nation. And right now my voice is gone because I was screaming up until 5 seconds ago. Because although all day long I was connected and ready to go, the systems completely failed 2 minutes before the show. And I wasn't going to have a show. But apparently right now I do have a show. And the phone number is 855-400-7282. This is the Savage Nation. The best headline of the day is on the front of the New York Post. And they're pro-Hillary. That's the funny part. We know that Murdoch can't get enough of the Clintons. And yet Murdoch's rag, the New York Post, has an anti-Hillary headline, quid pro dough. Bill cashed in when Hill was in O's cabinet. Big bucks from foreign interests. Bill Clinton raked in $48 million for speeches while Hillary was Secretary of State. While she used her clout to help foreign donors to the Family Foundation, a new book says. It's as corrupt as it gets. We're no better than the most rotten banana republic. And what do we have on the other side of the aisle? There's your answer. Let's see. We have Barack Bush. We have Barack Hussein Bush ready to rake in the dough. We have the construct, Rubio, invented by a group of billionaire donors in Florida, a creation, a total creation. Rubio is about ready to be the president as my dog is. He has about as much qualification to be president as Teddy is to be president. He sounds like a juvenile that they picked off the street. And I'm supposed to sit here and chant, Rubio, Rubio, Rubio. They found some clown with O at the end of his name, and suddenly he's a president? This is the country we have. We got what we deserve because you were asleep. Not me. Don't blame me. I'm not asleep. You are. Are you willing to vote in a rhino like Barack Bush for president to stop Hillary? Another Bush? By the way, this just came to me in the Savage Nation. You can join the program by calling 1-855-400-7282. That's if the phone lines are working. I can never tell anymore what's working. No one's telling me. It's like flying a plane without any instrumentation running the Savage Nation. 855-400-SAVAGE. It's unprotected talk. 20 things I trust more than Barack Obama. 1, Mexican tap water. Are you listening? Someone sent this to me. 20 things I trust more than Barack Obama. 1, Mexican tap water. 2, a porcupine with a pet me sign. Bill Clinton with my teenage daughter. Passing gas while fighting the flu. An elevator ride with Ray Rice. Taking pills or a drink offered by Bill Cosby. A Hillary Clinton war story reported by Brian Williams. Gas station sushi. This is 20 things I trust more than Barack Obama. Gas station sushi. Jimmy Carter with the economy. A Palestinian on a motorcycle. Pete Carroll coaching decisions. Eating an apple from an orchard at Fukushima reactor number 4. Hitching a ride from a guy in a goalie mask. The ingredients in a hot dog. Nancy Pelosi's grip on reality. Jerry Sandusky as a Boy Scout. Oh, God. So here's Barack Obama, the most corrupt, vicious liar in the history of the American presidency, now pushing the big lie of global warming to rob us even further. Listen to this fraud in clip 1.
Wednesday is Earth Day, a day to appreciate and protect this precious planet we call home. And today there's no greater threat.
Then stop flying around in Air Force One!
2014 was the planet's warmest year on record. 14
well, you and your wife use the plane so much.
On record have all fallen in the first 15 years of this century.
Let me explain something about Earth Day, which I'll talk a lot more about tomorrow. I know an awful lot about it. It was created by a man in prison right now for murdering his girlfriend, Holly Maddox. Earth Day was a creation of one of the greatest con men of his period, Ira Einhorn. He killed his girlfriend, Holly Maddox. He stuffed her in a trunk, hid her in his closet, and fled to Europe, where he was protected by American liberals for nearly 15 years, I believe. And it was owing to one fabulous district attorney in Philadelphia who would not give up on bringing this guy, Ira Einhorn, back to justice, that he was finally brought back from France, tried and found guilty of murder. That's who created Earth Day. He has about as much validity as Al Sharpton does in reorganizing the American police force. So that's the con man in the White House. A day to appreciate and protect this precious planet. Then he flies off on Air Force One to go collect money, bags of money. It's unbelievable to me. How do you people put up with it? Any other country, this wouldn't be going on. So you say, look, the headline says, quid pro quo. Bill cashed in when Hill was in O's cabinet. Big bucks came from foreign interests. Do you think it's limited to Hillary Clinton? Have you no idea how the system works? Do you think that Rubio, do you think that Cruz, do you think that Bush are not going to make a fortune on the campaign finances that you're going to send them and that they're going to collect? Are you that stupid to think that they're clean on the other side of the aisle? You really must be stupid. The system is corrupt. It's dirty from top to bottom. The finance system is why we have what we have at the highest office right now, what we're liable to get unless there is campaign finance reform tomorrow. 20 things I trust more than Barack Obama. One is Mexican tap water. That's kind of funny. Now he's selling us global warming. And I'm playing Carry On My Wayward Son by a group called Kansas. Again, I invite you to call 855-400-7282. Guy, 1 minute before the show, is flying at 45,000 feet, ready to go, and everything collapsed and failed. All the instruments went down. There was no connection to the home studio in Dallas, and the plane fell, I would say, within 5,000 feet of the earth. And we had to pull it back up from the earth, so here I am. Let's take our first caller out of San Francisco on line 5. KSFO, what's on your mind today?
Hi, my name is Pete. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Listen on the internet. I'd like to give you the reasons why I wouldn't vote for Jeb Bush. In my mind, he's a murderer, because you go back a little bit and you hear about the Terry Schiavo. And
wait, hold on. Let's stop with the murderer part. Let's stick to what we know rather than what you don't really know. I wouldn't vote for Bush because he's part of a dynasty, and I don't live in England in the 1800s.
I agree with you there.
And I call him Barack Bush for a good reason. How do Bush's policies differ from Barack Obama? Can anyone explain that?
They don't, actually.
He's in favor of illegal aliens being granted amnesty. So where's the difference between him and the Democrats? I'd like to know the answer.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know why he's being invited to the Bilderberg meeting in later on this year, I guess, 2015 or 2016.
All right, but I take it you're not a fan of the Bush family.
Not at all, no.
And Jeb Bush will give us more of the same.
Exactly.
Look, when you look at the front page of today's New York Post, quid pro quo, Bill cashed in when Hill was in O's cabinet. This is so corrupt. It's something that in any other country there would be not an investigation, but an immediate arrest. Do you know that?
I understand that, sure.
But because the Republican Party is just as dirty, there will be no investigation.
It's not, because the whole political system is corrupt in this country now. There really is no good choice to vote for. The top runners want to leave the borders wide open. They want the North American Union. I think that's one of the reasons they leave the borders open, and they just ram it down our throats.
And why does why does he have the audacity to push Earth Day and global warming? Why? What is he out to do with the global warming lie? What is he out to do?
I think he's out to sign us on with the UN treaties.
Yeah, the UN asked for $100 billion last week to help against global warming. You know where most of that money will go? Into cocaine and hookers.
Exactly.
The $100 billion will go to most of the hookers in New York and the coke trail coming up from wherever it comes from. Are they kidding me? Give $100 billion to those gangsters at the UN?
Sure, they have to. We have to fund their high life. We have to fund.
All right. Well, you can see I'm a real fan of the United Nations. Jeb Bush, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Marco Rubio. Who's left then? People say, well, okay, Savage, I got it. Who are you going to vote for? You know what the answer is? You want to hear my answer? I have an answer. And I'll give it to you the minute I return. But the phone number is 855-400-SAVAGE. I do have someone I would back. There's only one Republican candidate who I think is electable because he's less dirty than the rest of them. and I trust him. But it's not Marco Rubio, the invention. He's an embarrassment. Marco Rubio is an embarrassment. How can anyone get excited about a man who is so obviously invented as Marco Rubio? Remember the movie Being There with Peter Sellers way back when? It was about a humble gardener that some party found, a gardener. And they said, we're going to make you president. And he was like a dummy. And he said, I don't want to be president. That's exactly why we want you to be president. Because then once you're president, we can do whatever we want with the country. The movie was called Being There. A humble gardener was made president. Rubio is like, that's why I've called him the ice cream man. Do you understand that? He has about as much integrity as Marie Harf at the State Department. I'll be right back. It's the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Your Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust for tangible assets, gold and silver. Call 800-BUI-COIN.
Did foreign entities receive any special treatment for making any kind of donations to the foundation or your husband?
Well, we're back into the political season, and therefore we will be subjected to all kinds of distraction and attacks, and I'm ready for that. I know that comes, unfortunately, with the territory. It is, I think, worth noting that the Republicans seem to be talking only about me. I don't know what they'd talk about if I weren't in the race, but I am in the race, and hopefully we'll get onto the issues, and I look forward to that.
Well, that's the number one issue. How much money did you rake in? What are you talking about? You'll get back to it. What are Republicans are talking about you? You stink to high heaven. The country is talking about how rotten your family is. New York Post says it. Bill Clinton's earnings from paid speeches in 2001, $9.4 million. By 2009, it was $7.5 million. Went down. 2010, when his wife was Secretary of State, $10 million. 2011, $13 million. 2012, $17 million. Hillbillies, megabucks, it says. Hillary Rotten Clinton used her clout as Secretary of Hate to do favors for foreign donors who gave millions to her family foundation and who paid millions more to her husband, Bill, in speaking fees and new book charges. This is the book by Peter Schweitzer. Says that Bill Clinton raked in nearly half of the $105 million he was paid for speeches over a 12-year period during the 4 years that his corrupt wife, Hillary Clinton, served as Secretary of State. So now, you think the missing emails have something to do with this? The book is called Clinton Cash, and they raise questions about shady foreign money flowing into the Clinton Foundation and what actions Hillary took in her official capacity in exchange for the cash. It's an amazing allegation. Schweitzer is a former speechwriter, consultant for George Bush, to be clear about this. But let me tell you something. I don't care if he was God himself. He could be sued for libel if he couldn't support his allegations. God would be sued for libel if he wrote a book like this and couldn't support his allegations. One example of the alleged quid pro quo cited by the New York Times and other sources involved the State Department backing a free trade agreement with Colombia that benefited a company founded by a big donor to the Clinton Foundation. Okay? There's more. Much more to it than this. This family is tied to foreign donors. Of the 13 Clinton speeches that fetched $500,000 or more, only 2 occurred during the years his wife was not Secretary of State. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you think we deserve better than a system that would permit the American flag to be bought and sold like a cheap rag? I think it does. Even ABC News asked her about it. And she gave the old, "Aw, shucks, they're picking on a poor little woman again." Just picking on a poor little woman again. But that leaves us with a question. Would you vote for a rhino like Barack Bush to stop Hillary? I won't. I will never vote for a Bush. 8 years was enough. The first father was good. The second one was a dunce. The second one was El Dunso. The first one I had respect for. The second one didn't know where he was. He was like here and there. I didn't know what state he was in half the time. Never mind the state of mind. Only conservative talk shows who were invited to the White House liked him.